Good morning, and it's day 3. I hope you're doing well. Hope you've made it this far. Hope you're coping good. I hope you're enjoying it. Hope you're getting results from it. And I hope you've staved off all hunger and dehydration. If you haven't, go back and watch the dehydration video. Hydration is the key to success during this. Feeling good, having the energy, looking forward to your meals, all of it. So, today, everybody, day 3, should be on OMAD. Now the new people step it up a wee bit. We step up now, we have an extra 2 hours to add on to our fast. We have a 2 hour eating window. Remember, we're still breaking the fast an hour and a half, half an hour before. So our eating window is going to be 6 to 8. Our protein shakes will be around 5:30. 5:30, 2 scoops of whey protein into your meal. Make sure we stop at 8 o'clock. If you're moving your window, make sure it's consistent every day. Right, today we're going to talk about autophagy. Now autophagy is probably one of the reasons why fasting got its popularity, to be honest. Now, autophagy, I've heard people try and talk about autophagy before. Unless you really understand the nuances of it, it's very difficult to get your head around exactly what's happening. So let's break this down for you. The word autophagy itself, or autophagy, means to eat thyself. Autophagy is what other people might call it. But it means to eat thyself. Now, what happens here, remember, we've talked about this, and this is something that fundamentally you need to get into your head. It's an evolutionary adaptation that we have to keep us alive over hundreds of thousands of years of evolution when there was no food around. Remember, every animal's objective on the whole planet is to find food. The hardest thing for every living organism that has ever existed, as far as we know, is finding enough calories to survive, never mind enough calories to grow and evolve. So that's been the main premises of life. Get energy to stay alive. I can't even reproduce if I have no energy. So we have to learn to stay alive without food, with less calories. So everything that happens in our body is amplified when we fast. Your body has its own sort of waste management process, and that's what autophagy is. So what happens here is whenever there's no food around and the body's trying to use calories, it will actually start to eat its old cells. So it's very smart at thinking, right, we're doing a self-diagnostic and saying, right, these cells are old and damaged. These cells are good. I'm going to take these ones and I'm going to eat them and use them as fuel, and then we'll rebuild new cells. Now, what you have to understand here is every cell in your body is constantly in a state of repair, right? It's trying to fix itself. Because cells break down, they've oxidative stress, there's all the kind of things that are going on in your body. So cells break down and renew. They reckon that every cell in your body renews itself after 7 years. Just automatically just repairing all the cells until every cell is literally renewed after 7 years. Now, there's cell repair and there's cell renewal. So try and understand the difference. Now, remember we talked about, this is what's all going to start to come together for you. Remember we talked about insulin? And when you're not eating food, there's no elevated insulin, obviously, because there's no food coming in to elevate it. It's not necessarily true, by the way, but let's just take it as that, all right? Elevated cortisol in times of stress will elevate blood sugars as well too, because what it'll do, it'll break down muscle tissue to convert into sugar as well too. But we don't want to go into that. Let's just say when insulin is low, right, that's when all the good things happen. When insulin is elevated, remember, insulin is a storage hormone. It stores energy into the muscle cells, it stores energy into the liver, it stores excess energy then in the fat cells. Now, when insulin is elevated, we have another hormone called IGF-1, insulin growth factor 1. And what insulin growth factor 1 does, it helps cells grow, right? So, because we need to grow. Bodybuilders actually inject IGF-1 to try and make their muscles grow because it's cellular growth. Does that make sense? Now, IGF helps the cell repair and grow to be bigger and stronger. But I want you to imagine a car. I want you to imagine there's a part in your car and the part's not working well and you try and fix it. It starts to get a wee bit damaged and you fix it again. It starts to get a wee bit damaged and you fix it again. What happens here from a cellular point of view is mutations start to happen. Right? Maybe I've put a part and it's not really the way it's supposed to go, or I've added a part that I think's going to be helpful but it's really not. The cell starts to mutate, and after a while that cell just will not work. It has mutated to a point where it's cancerous. Does that make sense? So cellular mutation means the cell's trying to fix itself all the time, but somewhere along the line the DNA wasn't written the same, wasn't written properly, and mutations start to happen, okay? Remember that. So imagine I'm trying to fix this part in the car, and after a while I've tried to fix it so many times, I've stuck cell tip here, chewing gum here, a bit of super glue here, that the part just won't work. In fact, to be honest, it's actually detrimental to the engine, and the engine's going to shut down. This is IGF-1. Now again, remember, we do need bouts of IGF-1, but when IGF-1 is present all the time, and all we have is cellular repair and build, that's when these mutations start to happen. Now, what autophagy does, remember, there's no fuel around, there's no energy around, but we still need this, we need some sort of cellular repair, because we need to stay alive. Otherwise, we would just die. The body goes, there's a bad cell there, I'm going to take that, I'm going to eat it, I'm going to use it, I'm going to break it down for energy, and then we'll build a new cell to replace it. So we're replacing the cell. So imagine that part we talked about in the car, it's a wee bit broken, let's take that out, throw it away, and let's put in a brand new part. This is perfect. This is how the engine keeps working really, really well. So any cell that might have started to get dysfunctional, slightly mutated, or the DNA or the RNA, we'll not get into that part of it, but the DNA just didn't rewrite properly, the RNA was off, and mutations start to happen. The body will take that cell, which could potentially then be cancerous, eat it, devour it, throw it away, let's build a new cell. Does that make sense? That's because there's no IGF-1 present. So IGF-1 comes from insulin. IGF-1 is the insulin growth factor, part of the elevated insulin, and this is what's happening. So whenever we go times of fasting, this is why you'll hear people saying a 3-day fast where they eat no food at all is great for autophagy and purification. It reds out all the dead cells. It just literally eats everything that has to be eaten. It's cellular cleansing, if you know what I mean. And this is why fasting became so popular, and this is why it is so good for anti-cancers and things like that, and preventing cancer cells from growing. Now, there's a caveat to this, right? There is some cancerous cells that love having no IGF around. They will flourish and grow. So it can't get rid of all of them. But most of the most common ones, research has shown that it's pretty good at managing those up. All right? So that's another reason why fasting is so beneficial and so important. So see, when you're going those longer fasts, the longer fast, the more we're going to be autophagy. So if you're going to do the longer fast, say OMAD, and you get there around 4 o'clock and you've still 4 hours, or you've still got 2 hours to go, and you're thinking, oh fuck, this is no good. Think, oh, hang on a minute here, autophagy's kicked in here. This is cellular repair, right? Now remember, as part of the fasting challenge, we're doing this once a month, every single month, over and over and over and over. Look how much we're burning up all that shit out, gunky cells, and it read out all the rubbish. Does that make sense? Right? There was actually a family in the Himalayas that were found that had never had IGF-1. For some reason, the body never produced IGF-1. Now, the downside is, if you can imagine what I just said IGF-1 does, they're all midgets. The whole family, the whole generation of midgets. But they can't get cancer. They smoke, they drink, and honest to God, research has shown and proven these people with no IGF-1 they are immune to cancer because there's no cellular growth. It's constant cellular repair. But they're midgets. Google it, you'll see it, honest to God. So we're trying to switch off that IGF-1 process. Now again, some cancers can, but for some reason these people have never got it, but it's not, there's some that really work well with no sugar. Right? That's why again, ketogenic diet is very good for cancer patients, because the cancer likes to eat off sugar, right? But again, it's the IGF-1 actually. So that's why this is so popular. So this is another really strong benefit as to why your fasting protocols are good when they're long. But again, like I just said, autophagy means to eat thyself. You're eating up cells, right? You will also start to eat up muscle tissue if we do this too long. When we eat up muscle tissue, the stress level goes too high, the cortisol stays chronically elevated, which it does during perimenopause anyway. So this is why we need to manage our time frame on our fastings very carefully. You'll just eat up more protein. Now, when you start burning protein to use as fuel, protein is going to break down into glucose. So will the body fat. Remember we talked about the glucagon? Glucagon is a very slow process. It's very slow and steady. This is why your energy levels are very sort of relatively low when you go into glucagonic state. When the body goes catabolic and starts breaking down muscle tissue, it will shuttle up blood sugar levels very fast. And if the blood sugar levels come up, remember insulin needs to come up to manage that. If insulin's come up to manage that, so is your IGF-1. So if you're in perimenopause and your cortisol is elevated, and you've got a bit of belly fat, you can assume that your insulin's also elevated, and chronically high insulin means chronically high IGF-1. It's actually called, and I can never say it right, insulinemia. I can never say the fucking word. Insulinemia. And insulinemia's got all its other nasty things that come with it. So, the more we fast, the more we bring those insulin levels down, the better it is for our health and our longevity from an anti-cancer point of view. And that is autophagy.